Hello everyone and welcome to Immortal Cities, Children of the Nile. So, as you saw from the opening cinematic and obviously from the name, this is a game about ancient Egypt. It is a city building-ish game. Mostly what I'd like to accomplish with the beginning of this playthrough, let's play, whatever, is going over a lot of the basics, just a lot of how the game is played, and then we will move on to playing it and hopefully beating it. We'll see. We'll see what happens. So first of all, we choose the name of our family that will survive throughout the generations of all of the pharaohs and our many reincarnations, if you know anything about your Egyptian history and mythology. I'll just go ahead and go with my normal moniker. It will be a last name instead of a first name, obviously, because it's a family name. I'm going to go ahead and go to play a campaign. And we're going to do the grand campaign. So, when you are on the campaign map, which is what we're looking at right now, I'll just go ahead and read some of the stuff that's open. It says, "You are Pharaoh, king of Egypt, ruler of the children of the Nile. Through 5 historical periods, you and your dynasty will lead Egypt through peace and turmoil, building a legacy that will endure forever." So, in each of the 5 historical periods, we can choose one of 3 options: an easy, medium, and a hard, or I guess it's moderate. For the beginning of this, I'm going to go ahead and do easy, just to kind of give me a nice, leisurely little game to play, so I can take my time in explaining and demonstrating a lot of the basics of the game. I'm not great at it, but I feel that I'm good enough to properly convey everything. So here we go. Let's go ahead and open this up, and we'll have the narrator explain to us what we are doing.
Egypt is vast and powerful beyond the imaginings of our ancestors. Now this great nation needs a grand city to serve as its capital and attest to your glory. This fertile region of the Nile is an ideal location for a great city with ample resources and a vast floodplain. The perfect soil in which to grow your capital. As Nekin thrives, be sure to turn your attention outside your new city. There you will find the luxuries, resources, and opportunities that inspire your fortunate citizens to praise your name with every breath. Build Egypt's new capital for the glory of Horus, for the glory of Pharaoh.
Alright. So all the fluff text aside, our objectives are to maintain a large noble population with at least 6 of their estates enhanced to luxury level, large. Maintain 60 prestige, and we'll get into those once we get to those. So let's go ahead and get into the game. Alright, so first off, we want to go ahead and pause it so that I can explain and show off a few of the basics. I will be trying to skip a lot of the loading screens just because the loading screens in my recording software do not like each other, and they tend to fight terribly. Alright, so, as with any new area that you start, you need to survey your surroundings and kind of see where you would like to start something. This is a pretty good area over here, but you know, there's also these low-level flood. I mean, this area is okay, but it's prone to flooding. We'll get into all that once we get to it. I like to use mostly on this map. I like to use this area and this area just because they're pretty wide open. Although they are kind of the edge of the map and it's a little bit crowded, but whatever. So, the 2 most important things to look at when you first start a map, or the 2 most, I mean there's several, I'll just kind of briefly go over. So these are all the building tabs. This is for the world map, these are for edicts, and these are all the information tabs that we need for the people report, the administration, and the resources. I'll go into detail about what all these things do once we get to building them. So the very first thing that you want to do is kind of, like I said, scout out an area where you want to build. I'll go ahead and get something really basic set up, and then I'll show you, I'll come back once I have everything kind of laid out, and then we start building some stuff. So I'll be back in a bit. Alright, so I'm pretty sure this is a pretty good layout. So like I was saying before, so I have my basic layout of where I'm gonna put stuff. I don't normally like to set it out this far in advance, but I mean this is just to kind of show you what it's going to be. So this is going to be the noble section with our palace and other things like this, and this is going to be some of our regular section. So the first thing you need to know is that there are three classes of people. There are peasants, middle class, and the elite. The elite include us. Well, and then there's private and government homes, or yeah, private and public sectors, I guess, or private and government, whatever. The peasants. Well, I guess everyone in this sector, in the private sector. Well, how should I put this? All right. So the very first thing that you need to do is we need to set up farmhouses. The farmhouses are a little one square thing, and these guys are the backbone of your economy in this game. So the farmers come out and they plant all the fields and they tend the crops, and they make sure that everything is going. Nobles and the palace are, it's kind of like, how do I put this? It's like old time, like basically the farmers work for the nobles or the palace, depending. And the very first thing we want to do is we want to go ahead and place the palace. So I'm going to go ahead and stick it right here. Okay, so our palace goes right there. And we want to go ahead and the palace can support at starting up to 6 farms, but I like to just go ahead and lay out a bunch of them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then we'll go ahead and do, come on game. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Alright, so we have 20 potential farmers, but in the very beginning, our palace can only support 6. So, to make up for that difference, we need to actually put places for nobles to move in. And now, starting, nobles can only support 4 farms, so that's still going to be less than what we can do. I think it's like, oh no, it might be more, because 6, 10, 14, 18, 22. So we're actually going to be short 2 farms, but that's fine. So we'll go ahead and put 1 here, 1 here, and then we'll go ahead and switch out so it looks different, although that looks kind of the same. Alright. So now the basis, the basics for our economy is set up. So the nobles will come and build their own, or the villagers will build these houses for the nobles, and the royals, the pharaoh, myself. Oh, that's something else. So while we're looking at that, this is the people report. So this lists all the different, like the maximum number and the total number. Or I guess it says occupied in total, but this is how many we have, this is how many we can't have. Right now it's not doing anything because the game is paused, but what I want to direct your attention to is this, the villagers. So in any map, it starts you off with a certain number of villagers. Since this is easy, we have a bunch of them. There's 112. And the villagers live in these little huts that I've been kicking them out of. As you can see, here they all are. These are representative of the families that I've evicted from their homes, most cruelly. What'll happen is the villagers, they live a very simple life of just hanging out by themselves. They don't really do anything. They forage food from the pomegranate trees. They fish. They just kind of, exist. So we come in and we set up these farmhouses. So the villagers will go from being villagers to being peasants in either private or government homes. So some of these villagers will move into these farmhouses and they will start growing food for us. Let's go ahead and unpause it and watch as that happens. So right now it won't actually show anything. The max number of farms that we can support is 0. What we have to do is wait for our palace to be constructed and for our noble townhouses to be constructed and for nobles to actually move in. So let's go ahead and speed this process up just a little bit. So down here is something that's kind of important. So there are 3 different seasons. There's the flood, the planting, and the harvest season. It starts with the flood, obviously, because the Nile floods and it brings, it makes the ground fertile for our farmers to plant things. So you notice that these places are being constructed. It's taken a little bit of time, obviously. Alright, so you notice the townhouse is built, and it says a new noble is on the way. So there's not actually anyone living here yet. They're just empty townhouses. The difference, though, is that once the palace is built, we move in right away. Let's go ahead and bring this speed back down. So yeah, there we go. The palace is built. We have 6 occupied farms, because that's all our palace can currently support, is farm-supported 6. So these 6 are built and ready to go. When the floodwaters recede, there will be, our farmers will go out and they'll plant food and they'll plant crops, and they'll tend to them and so on and so forth, and we'll continue this in the next. I mean, that's the basics of the economy for this game, is the farmers plant stuff for us, and I mean that's really just the very start. So up next will be providing basic services, or providing basic commodities for the people of our city. So that'll be next episode. So next episode we're going to go into the middle class, the shopkeepers and such, and providing things for the nobles in the upper class. So thank you very much for watching, and join me next time on Immortal Cities, Children of the Nile.